So this is a weekly call. We're just calling this like the Appliance Repair Roundtable. The idea is that sometimes we'll come like with no agenda, where I'll ask people to come with any kind of issues or things that are working well, things that are not working well, and we kind of just go around the table discussing things. And then sometimes we'll hone in a little bit on a particular topic. And the last call that we had a request to talk about lead generation. So that's what we'll be focusing on. And I like to kick things off where we can kind of, sort of become a little familiar with ourselves. So what we'll do real fast is we'll just go around. I'll start, who we are, our business name, if there's any, specifics about, who you service area, that kind of stuff, share that. And then also the third one would be anything in particular that you'd like to talk about on a call. And I'll take notes, and this helps with continuing with our topics. I'll go ahead and I'll kick it off. I am the host and moderator. My name is Alex Taberry. My business is App Digital. I help appliance repair companies get more customers with lead generation and manage their business's online presence. Let's go ahead and kick it on over to Bobby. Bobby, your business, where you service, and anything that you want to talk about in the future.
My name is Bobby Howard. I'm a partner in Capitan Appliance. We have 3 locations, St. Louis, Indianapolis. Prior to that, I was a Division I trainer, Mid-America Service, Samsung USA. Now I'm on my own now, 6 months off the leash and trying to kick it.
Nice. So pardon me, Zoom is not pulling in the name. So I believe it was Angel. Do you want to unmute yourself and introduce yourself and your business?
Thank you.
Sure. Can you guys hear me? This is my first time using this Zoom right here. All right,
Yep,
so
loud and clear.
I'm out of Riverside, California. I had started a company. It was called Appliance Industries with a partner, and recently we kind of shifted separate ways. Didn't really work out, so I'm moving to Las Vegas and starting fresh out here. So I'm really interested in hearing what you guys got to say about lead generations, because I'm pretty new at this.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I would say that this was the right week to call on in. Again, I'm sorry I don't have your name, but Trinity TV and Appliance. Do you mind introducing yourself and sharing a bit about your business?
Yes, my name is LaRon Lockley. I'm from North Carolina, and I can't hear you too good, y'all guys. Can y'all hear me good?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. I actually work a full-time job, and I do this part-time. So I got about 3.5 years I can retire, and I plan to make it a full-time endeavor. So I'm really the only one that's doing the work. So my work's steady picking up. So sometimes I'm for the past 4 weeks I've been real busy. So I'm learning a lot of this stuff on my own. So kind of the school of hard knocks.
Great. I'm curious, are you doing anything? What are you doing to get these new customers and these new service calls that you've been fielding?
I have a Facebook page that gets it out a lot, passing out business cards. Facebook is puts you out there.
Great. Thank you. Let's move on over to Andrew. You want to unmute yourself, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about the business that you work for, and anything else you wanted to share.
Sure, Andrew. We're Greater Cincinnati, Southwest Ohio, tri-state area. Been with them for 16 years. We're factory authorized for 30 plus of the companies. Been trained in-house as well as on the road. I've been doing this, like I said, 16 years. So got a pretty good grasp on the work. It's all about whether or not I want to go out on my own was my last discussion with Bobby there. And that's kind of a good topic for you guys to teach me how to, or help me figure out how to get clients if I did move out. My big issue is I don't want to be in direct competition with them. They're not necessarily friends, but I've been around them for so long that I don't want them to be out there thinking that I scorn them, like Bobby mentioned. That's a pretty good point. But where I'm at geographically in the city, I'm really far north compared to that company, so I'd be able to branch out and go north rather than deal with being in direct competition, hopefully. But that's what I got.
Great. Yeah, and I'd say that today's topic will be really very helpful for that. And I think that on a future topic, perhaps next week, maybe we can focus on some of the other things to consider, or some of the other things to keep in mind when an employee is looking at making the transition into, being a business owner. Let's go ahead. So we had one more join us. I'm not sure if you can hear us, but if you can, the individual that joined us, we're just doing some introductions. If you wanted to unmute yourself, let us know who you are, what's your business, and where you're servicing right now.
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Okay, my name is TK White. I live in Columbus. I been doing appliance repair for about 3 years now. I just recently got on with LG, direct factory service. Before that, I was working with a small company called Big Sandy Furniture, and before that, I worked at Sears. So I've been doing this for about 3 years. Just started doing refrigeration when I started with LG. And I plan on doing it and I have my own side business, which is my own appliance repair. I do that on weekends. So it's called Your Home Appliance Repair. It's spelled YOREHOME, on ohms.
Cool. And TK, for your side, for your appliance repair business, are you doing anything in particular for lead generation?
At the moment, it's mostly word of mouth. I have a side magnet on my personal vehicle that my wife brings around to work, and then I'm on Facebook. I have business cards. I did a business card thing where I went out to like Best Buys and Lowe's and Home Depots and put business cards on people's cars, and that seems to be getting me a business so far.
Cool. Thank you. Sweet. So I was thinking, I kind of live, eat, and breathe this stuff with lead generation, specifically online. I had prepared a couple of things. So I think what I'll do is I'll share my screen and throw out a quick little kind of, I guess you could call it a little presentation, something that I think I put together. I think it would be really helpful to just kind of understand the way that a marketer thinks about lead generation and some of the concepts around that. And then we'll open it up, talk about different types of lead generation. I want to hear from you guys on what you think works, what you think doesn't work, questions, that kind of stuff. So let me go ahead and kick this over. You guys, can you see my screen? I've got an image of a marketing funnel. So this is a good way for anybody to think about lead generation or marketing or customer acquisition. It's all part of the same thing. And the way that this funnel works, as you can see at the top, it's very wide. And as you get lower down in that funnel, it gets narrower and narrower. So and this also illustrates sort of the steps in the marketing journey, or what we will sometimes call the path to purchase. So it all starts with a prospective customer becoming aware of your business or aware of your ability to provide a service. And then they sometimes can, depending on how well your marketing is, how well your lead generation is, the idea is to get them to get to the next step, which is considering your service to be what they will choose. That choice, when they choose to use your service, that's called conversion. So an example would be somebody is looking for appliance repair. So they go on to Google or they go on to their search engine and they search for something that's relevant to them. It might be refrigerator repair near me. And then let's say you're running paid search ads, your ad shows up. So right there, they're becoming aware of your business as a possible solution to their problem. Let's say they click on your ad is written in a way that, they feel that it's relevant. They're like, hey, I think I think that this business is going to be viable to, to provide this solution that I'm looking for. So they're in that consideration phase. And then they click through your ad, they come to your website. Your website is communicating clearly to them that you're able to provide what they need. Maybe there's some social proof like testimonials or whatever it is. There's all kinds of elements that can help transition someone from consideration to conversion. Conversion is when they actually call, they schedule a service call, and then we have loyalty and advocacy. Loyalty is that they're a happy customer. They're so happy with the service that you provided that when their neighbor is asking them if they know somebody to repair their washing machine, your card is available. Maybe they were so happy with it, they made sure to ask for your card, or maybe you're on top of giving your card out when you're done with a repair. Whatever it is, loyalty is that really nice step. And then advocacy, I was kind of touching on that. Advocacy is when they're actually going out and advocating for you and your business. So there's a couple of things that I like to think about, or that you'd want to think about when thinking of lead generation and marketing for your business as a whole. So the first question is, who is your audience? The easiest thing to answer is, your service area. So it's going to be individuals within the service area. Is your audience a homeowner or a renter? They're going to be a homeowner for the most part. Is your audience going to be perhaps a property manager that starts to tap into the renter? So getting an idea of who it is that your ideal customer is, who is your audience, that's really important. And it's important because it can feed directly into some of your actual lead generation tactics. Like, for example, with online, maybe you're going to do some Facebook advertising, some social advertising. If you know who your audience is, you're going to be able to target them well. With Facebook, you can target based on being a homeowner or not. You can target based on household income. Let's say that you want to focus on some high-end repairs like Sub-Zero, Wolf, and those types of higher-end built-ins. You can narrow your targeting down with Facebook, and you can't do that appropriately unless you know who your audience is. An offline marketing example would be direct mail. You can buy a list of homeowners in a certain geography, their first name, and then you can do direct mail where you can do some direct sales mailings. Also would be understanding your audience's intent. So this is really, I think this is a really important one, because I hear a lot about, hey, set up a Facebook business page, which is super important. Participate in your local forums and your local groups. Again, super important. Hand out make little flyers or hand out business cards and put them up at like your hardware stores, that kind of stuff. Very important, but it's really, really important to understand where's the intent in that audience. Those examples are examples of lead generation efforts when somebody would be out of market. So it's this concept of like direct intent, or in market and out of market. One of the reasons why paid search is a really effective approach is because you're only going in front of the people that want your service right here and right now. That example earlier, their refrigerator broke, they need that refrigerator fixed now, so they're looking for a solution to their problem immediately. Some of those other examples, they are good, but it's important to differentiate between the intent. They're out of market. They know, hey, I might need a refrigerator, a washer, whatever. I might need it repaired in the future. I know that I need a go-to appliance repair company for my home. But but yeah, so this is all about understanding accurately who your audience is, where they are in the buying cycle. And one other thing that I like, an analogy that I was just talking about, is it's farming and hunting. When you're farming for those out of market leads, you're planting seeds. You're planting seeds, you're watering them, they're going to grow, and you're going to harvest those plants in the future. When you're hunting, you're going directly for the kill right away. So yeah, that was kind of a little bit of a presentation I wanted to put together for you guys. What you see on my screen, these are different lead generation ideas, and I want to open it up to everybody. These are some things that I've heard about in the Facebook groups. So I just kind of started compiling a list, and just reading off. We're talking about starting a Facebook business page, and by extension, being involved in in your Facebook community, so to speak. Building relationships. I was reading about somebody recommending, knock on doors of your past customers, have a conversation with them, see how everything's going, hand out business cards to your customers, posting on Craigslist. Somebody was talking about starting a YouTube channel and creating how-to videos, which I'd be interested to see what you guys think about that. Local groups like your buy and sell forums, etc. There's referral websites like your Angie's Lists and your Home Advisors. Getting a relationship with a warranty company. We've talked about paid search. And then also someone was talking about reaching out to housing communities. I believe they were referring to like property managers and that sort of thing. I'm going to stop talking a little bit. Are there any other things that you guys think should be on this list of different lead generation options? Any opinions or experiences you guys have with stuff that is on this list?
We'll make it to this.
The only lead generation platforms that I'm using right now is Craigslist, OfferUp. I'm using Facebook as well. For me, I feel like Craigslist works the best for me. And OfferUp, I get one call every here and there. But the only problem that I'm having with Craigslist is that it's customers I'm getting from Craigslist are not
Low income.
Yeah, exactly. And there is another place where I get lead generation from, but it's called Appliance HD. I'm not sure if you guys heard of them. So what they do, they're basically a marketing company where they post jobs, and technicians could go in there and just pick them out. The problem with those leads is that they take the service fee. If you take the job out of it, then that money goes to you, but they keep the service fee. So that's currently where I'm at right now. I want to get into Google ads, but that's a little more complicated for me.
Angel, did you say it was Appliance HD?
Yeah.
Correct.
Another one is what's called TARM, which stands for the Appliance Repairman.
It was TARM?
Yeah, it's an acronym, TARM, the Appliance Repairman.
Okay.
Yeah, Angel, I would say, and this is like unbiasedly, and this is also based on what other people have said, I would say that Google paid search, Google My Business listings, and driving reviews, those like the trifecta of those three working together is it's going to bring you those high intent leads, especially when you start with like tip of the spear being paid search ads. When you build your campaigns out with the intent of going after the people that are searching for those repairs now, making sure that you're not, showing ads for people that are trying to, search for like how to repair my refrigerator and stuff like that. You want to be making sure that your ads are showing up for the people that are looking for appliance repair near me, appliance repair 24/7, you know, the people that want those services performed for them. You know, that's it is a cost. You pay by the click. So it's important to make sure that you are managing the campaigns in a way that your ads are only showing for those relevant search terms. If you are having somebody manage the ads for you, there's also that additional cost of having the marketer manage them for you. And I would say that one of the important things to understand is you know, what your ideal cost per lead is, like what's going to make business sense. Knowing what the lifetime, or at least forecasting or estimating what the lifetime value of a customer is really going to help make that calculation. Because if you know that it's going to cost you $50, I'm just throwing numbers out there. If it's going to cost you $50 to acquire a customer, but then at the same time, you know that that customer, that first-time repair, is going to be, you know, on average, I don't want to start throwing numbers out there, but you know, compare that to your service call. 200, is that what you said, Bobby? Yeah. So there you go. You know, you can think of the cost of the revenue you bring from your service call. You can think of, you know, Bobby's saying 200 average cost of repair. What do you have to do to turn that one-time customer into a recurring customer? Sure, it's going to be a year down the line, or I mean, you guys tell me. You guys do this all the time. What is the average frequency for like a recurring customer's repairs?
Depends on how old the house is.
Okay.
If that house is 15 to 20 years old, that is a prime market for, you know, things to start breaking. If that house is, you know, 3 years old, the chances of you getting something in that house, you know, the frequency would be less. So the same thing is going to be when you go into those homes. Every customer gets a business card. Make that your standard of protocol. Every customer gets a business card. And then the big thing to focus on when you're in a home and you do your 6 to 12 calls a day, whatever call volume you have based on your logistics, you find one customer that really likes you, one customer that communicates and is on common ground with you that you like, and you kind of, you know, just flat out ask them if they do reviews. If they say yeah, you tell them that you'd be happy to put a 10% coupon on their ticket if they write a review for you. Most customers will take the 10%. They will take a $20, you know, discount. They'll take whatever. You'll take a little bit of a hit, and you'll get a 5.0 rated, you know, review from that customer. The key to this is to do this every single day. I mean, you give every customer out, you make that your standard of protocol. And then by the end of the month, when you're looking at your reviews and you're sitting on, you know, 25, 30, 40, 5.0 rated reviews and nothing bad, all the other customers that are going to be looking up, you know, appliance repair near me, and they see you having a 5.0 rated review with 40 or 50 reviews, and then Joe Blow next to you with a 4.2 and a bunch of 2s and 4s, they're going to think, what's the difference, and why is yours only 5.0? Because your standards are different. You're building your platform to have a perfect rating.
Yeah, from what I've seen, reviews should be the primary goal. Online reviews should be the primary goal. And there's many ways to get to that review. You were saying, Angel, you were talking about how you're trying to figure out, you know, Google marketing and advertising. Reviews on Google, do you have so you just moved out to Vegas, and do you have the business like established and everything yet?
Not yet, no. Right now I'm actually just bouncing back and forth from California to Vegas. Just I came out here for a week right now, and so I'm out here just testing the waters, throwing some ads out and seeing what I can get out of it. So I don't have anything established in Vegas or not even a business name.
Okay. So no website or anything like that?
No website. I made a website previously for the old company, but I'm gonna start everything from scratch.
Okay. Where are you? Go ahead, Bobby.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say you can do a speakeasy, and you can actually rent that address. You can that way you can have a Google My Business sent to that address. It may cost you $100 a month, to rent that space out. But now you have a place where you can, Google, you can have a GMB and you can set up that where you can get Google reviews. And it doesn't have to be a location in your own home. You can set it up to, and you can do multiples. I mean, you don't have to do just one. But those speakeasies, and what's the other name of those, Alex? Do you know? They're like liquid or,
well, we're talking about like co-working spaces, right?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so variety of co-working spaces. So there's a couple of ways to go about and things to think about with establishing your Google My Business listing. And you can use your home address or anybody's home address if you have a friend, whatever, that kind of thing. And you can set it up so that you're building it out as service area only business where your address doesn't show publicly. You can also use a co-working sort of office space. Now, the thing with any shared space is that you're going to want to add a unit number to it. And the reason why is because Google's little robots, their algorithm, will look and say, hey, is there another business that's registered at this same address? If so, we're going to only give like preference to the one that is showing us the most things that Google wants to see. So what you can do is you can work with the co-working space and just let them know, hey, because of the way that Google is, I'm adding unit 103. Please make sure that when I get mail, that when you see 103, you accept it, and that's me, or whatever it is. The different co-working spaces might have different kind of guidelines, but yeah, reviews are the way to go. Reviews are going to help lower your costs for paid search advertising. Reviews are going to be something that people, whether it's online on Google, whether it's on Facebook, people are going to be looking back to that marketing funnel. Remember that second phase was consideration. Looking at your reviews is a primary way that a prospective customer will be considering your business and your service. So, the different things that you can do to generate reviews are definitely important. Like Bobby was saying, every day asking for reviews, giving an incentive, and it really comes down to when we're talking about that sort of like recirculating aspect, it really comes down to giving a great service. And the reality of it is eventually you're going to get a bad review. And the best thing to do when you get a bad review is that you respond to it publicly and respond to it like professionally. The worst thing that a business owner can do is, chew them out online. But if somebody leaves a bad review and then you're responding professionally, most people that are going to be reading that review are going to be like, man, this person was obviously having a bad day, or is just somebody that only reviews when they like are out to get somebody. And then they see your nice professional review. And if anything, a bad review with a good professional response can be better than a 5-star review with no response.
It shows you how you're going to handle the good with the bad.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Yelp, paying for Yelp advertising?
I do $5 a day, so it's $150 a month, and basically as long as I get 1 to 2 responses from Yelp, I pretty much consider that a worthwhile market. At least it's getting my awareness out there. Alex, you probably know an answer better to this one. Yelp seems to work more with Bing and Microsoft than it does with Google. Is that true?
In my experience, Yelp, I'm not aware of any sort of cross-platform compatibility with Yelp. What will happen is that the search engines, there's something, and I'll stop because this gets really nerdy, but there's stuff called, they call it metadata that is put out by different websites, and anything that Bing or Yahoo would be pulling they would be probably pulling it from Yelp, just based on how Yelp is coding their website and the reviews. In my experience with Yelp, they definitely favor the reviewer. They definitely favor the consumer over the business. And Yelp seems to work kind of in this closed ecosystem. Like, for example, my wife left a great review for a business, and she doesn't leave Yelp reviews very much, and it got flagged as like lower than, I don't know, like below standards. And we did a little looking into it, and it seems like Yelp tends to favor people that review a lot, or people that have a profile that, like, they use the social platform aspect of Yelp. So it's one of the things to just keep in mind. But if you're a good business that's providing a good service, you're probably not going to be running across those bad reviews.
Yelp likes to use a terminology called recommended review. And the recommended review has nothing to do with your business. The recommended review or the unrecommended review is strictly about the activity of the person writing the review. So like he was just giving the example of his wife. If she is not constantly on there and constantly doing ones, then her reviews get filtered out as unrecommended because she's not an active user. So that, I mean, we have 10 unrecommended reviews, and then all of a sudden they'll pop back up and we have 6 recommended now, and it's just because that person hopped back on and became active again. It goes up and down, and I hate Yelp.
Great. You said it before. I didn't have to say it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Yelp, but it can be a necessary evil.
They called me when I had my partnership. They called, and they kept on calling, actually, and they kept on trying to get me to pay for it. But one thing that I didn't like about them is that I had customers leave reviews on there, and their reviews wouldn't pop up. And someone had mentioned, like, yeah, you have to pay, and then all of a sudden all of your reviews will come up. I don't know. I had mixed feelings about it. I still haven't used them, but
one of the other limitations with Yelp, and to a certain degree Facebook, if you're doing paid Facebook advertising where you're driving those clicks, those visitors to your website, this isn't the case. But the challenge is that it's these closed ecosystems. One of the ways that using these online advertising platforms, like talking about Google, one of the ways that helps you, or one of the things that's nice, is when you can actually gauge effectiveness. Yeah, you can gauge effectiveness in a rough way by being like, okay, I started advertising on Google and I noticed my phone's ringing more, but how do you tell whether that's because of the ads you're running, or whether that's just because there happens to be this sort of organic need for your business that is coming from a non-paid source? So with Yelp, if they request a quote through Yelp, you'd be able to understand it comes from Yelp. But you can't really tell whether somebody found you on Yelp, clicked on the website, and then converted, unless you have the right kind of tracking involved. So it comes back to that question of, if you have a website or not. And I think it also comes back to, like, what is your marketing budget, and what margins do you have for, do you have experimental budget, or are you running on a lean budget and you need to make sure that you're squeezing all the juice out of that lemon? It depends on everybody's situation.
We screen it with our customers when we're there in the homes, or if we're on the phone with them, and you just tell them, I have multiple advertisements out there. How did you hear about us? And they'll say internet, Facebook, Google, Craigslist, Yelp. They'll run through all the hoo-ha. And at that point, when you put it on there, put it on there as a source, and put it like a source code, Facebook for this one. And what you're going to find out is like, I have an ad running here, I have an ad running there. Okay, this ad in my area is getting a lot of traction. So next time, on the next cycle, the next week or month, however you do your monthly, advertisement, okay, we're getting more money out of this. We're going to funnel more into that.
Yeah, no, that's solid. That's solid. What other, go ahead, Andrew. We can, can you say that again? Your audio didn't come in right away.
What is a reasonable budget for advertising?
How many calls
How much do you, well, I mean, realistically, you're going to want at least, 40 a week, right?
There's a couple of factors to consider. So I'll speak from the Google advertising side of things. It depends on your market. So it depends on two aspects to your market. Primarily, what does your competition look like? And then also how many people are searching. Because the way that Google paid search works is that you pay per click, and the sort of rates that are defined are based on how many people are searching for those terms that you're bidding on, and what does the competition look like. I was reading in one of the Facebook groups earlier where they were talking about like $3 cost per click across the board. I don't know what market they're in. I know that in the kind of greater Minneapolis metropolitan area, for one of the companies that we work with, we are, and again, it comes down to that. I was talking about your tracking. If you have your tracking in place, you don't really want to gauge on the cost per click. You want to gauge on the cost per phone call or the cost per form submission. And with that company, our average cost per phone call or form submission, and for them, a form submission is requesting an appointment online, is on average $10 to $15. So, and it makes sense for them. Their service call is $100. Their average repair is, more than that. I don't know off the top of my head what their average repair is, but let's take what Bobby was saying earlier, $200. And then let's just say, what's your conversion rate of phone calls and appointment requests to actual booked service calls? So let's just say that's 50%, which is pretty low for somebody that's looking for that service right now. That would be a 15 to, that would be a $20 to $40 customer acquisition cost with that example. Things to think about with your conversion rate from a lead to a booked service call is how far are you booking out? What are your costs compared to the competition? I know that when people are booking out really far, they're losing those leads because the competition can book them sooner.
Alex is right with that about the competition. If your competition and your local companies that are in your area are funneling out, $5,000 a month in advertisement, and you've got $150, I mean,
you'll never keep up.
Yeah, you're throwing a water balloon at a moving car. You may get a couple, but what you have to do is change your platform, and that's what Alex was talking about, saying different ones. With that Facebook, I like the Facebook ads myself. I do every form of advertisement I can, and I'm booked out. I've only been in this location 2 months. I'm booked out a week ahead, so I can't take any calls until Wednesday or Thursday right now, and I've only been here 2 months. The main reason why is because of my advertisement, because of like Alex and like doing different things. With the Facebook, I have a $250 ad running right now that's going to run all month long. And because I entered my name into every one of the social for, buy, sell, trade, moms for St. Charles, like all these different groups that have 40 and 50,000 people in their groups. They're very large groups. And I share my advertisement there. I clicked and shared and brought it over to those. So Facebook said that my exposure should be around 12,000 for the entire month. Based on the critique that I set it for the a homeowner being 35 to 65 years of age, having an average income of 75,000 or more. So I've designed my ad to, to run in those kind of groups and to do a 20-mile area from, this location. Because I shared it and pushed it in there, I'm already exceeding 35,000 exposure. So with the 35,000, people exposed to that Facebook response, I may get 1%. I may get 0.5% of that exposure that'll actually want to communicate, want to pick up the phone, want to call. And a lot of that's going to be, if you're going to be investing money in that type of ad, make a good ad. I mean, don't just, try to, just sling something while you're sitting on the couch. Sit down, spend 15, 20 minutes, researching, what does a good ad look like? And the best answer to that is going to be look up the most common failures. What are the most common failures in a customer's house? You have 5 categories. You have a dryer not heating or working properly, ice maker, refrigeration not cooling, washing machine not draining properly, dishwasher leaking, garbage disposal. So put every one of those 5 in your ad. Put them all in there, and ask them, here's our service. Do you have problems with this? The other biggest thing that has a response, if you have this just long ass list on your advertisement, people aren't going to want to sit there and read through the whole thing. Just like me and you won't sit there and read through the whole damn thing. We'll skim through it and find something we like, right? So photos are 10 times as strong as words. Put photos in your ads. Put photos in your Google, on your GMB. Photos are stronger than words are. When I upload photos, daily of my repairs, and I find my activity just goes up. People will look at a photo before they'll read a paragraph. That's just natural.
So 1,000 words.
Exactly. So, use that. So if you're smart with your advertisement, like my Facebook ads, I run, like right now I'm running $250 ad. I've booked 15 calls off of it. I've made $1,500 off that $250, and I still got 5, 6 more days left on the ad. So if I can't crank out at least 5 to 10 times what I'm investing into that ad, it's not worth it to me. The same thing with the Google advertisement. If I'm going to spend $2,000 a month in that advertisement, I'm expecting to hit $4,000 or $5,000 return from it. That's just that's my monthly number. So when I invested this kind of money into these calls, that's what I'm expecting to get out of them. And right now I'm generating $5,000 to $8,000 a month. I'm sorry, a week up here. So yeah, my business is good. And mainly.
Do you put military discount in your ad at all?
No, actually I don't. I don't put senior citizen discount. I don't put military discount on there. If I get into the customer's house, I'll give them any kind of discount they want. Yeah, I'll make up it's a fucking day that ends in Y, 10% off. Here you go. Anything to get their approval. If they ask, yeah, sure, 10%. I was gonna give it to them anyway. If I'm making $200 or if I'm making $180, I'm still making a profit there. I don't care. But the thing is you're getting a happy customer. So whether or not it's a senior citizen discount, if it's a military discount, if you're given a Facebook or a review discount, however it goes. But the quality of your ad is going to be everything. Because that's what's gonna. It's like trying to go fishing with some crappy bait. You ain't gonna get a lot of fish.
You see all the different ads on Facebook groups, and they look pretty poor sometimes with typos, and I don't understand how they make it at all. So I get your point.
Well, if you guys want to look, you can look mine up on Capitan Appliance Repair on Facebook, and then Capitan Appliance Google reviews. And you'll see that all 3 of my locations have perfect 5.0 ratings. You can see my advertisement on Facebook. I don't mind. I'm pretty transparent. My website is needing some of Alex's work here to get tweaked up a little bit. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, you're selling a sizzle.
With Facebook advertising, my biggest struggle is getting a customer scheduled through messaging, because I feel like when someone calls, it's way more effective, but I rarely have anybody call me through Facebook.
How do you on there?
I do, yeah.
So I mean, if Facebook ads, I mean, you're going to be looking at half a percentage. So I mean, how much did you spend on your advertisement?
On the last ad that I did, I think it was like 150 for the month. For the month.
Oh, we'll see. Yeah, if I'm doing a $150 ad, it's usually going to be for a week. Because I mean, you want that Google Drive. I mean, so I mean, honestly, think about it. If you ran your Facebook ad for $150 for 1 week and you got one call from it, you made your money back, right? If you got 2 calls from it, you doubled your money, right?
Yep.
So I mean, when you're talking about $150, you want to see 2 calls. When you're doing $1,000, you want to see 10 calls, right? And that's the honest, aspect you can do it. So move down your timeline. If you're doing a $150 ad, that's a 1 week ad. You'll get more exposure from it. It'll drive harder, and you'll get a better response. But also look at the quality of your ad. Add some photos of you doing the repair. You know, I mean, you wearing a mask, you wearing gloves, or you petting a dog in front of the appliance you're working on. People want to see pet friendly. People want to see, you have blankets down and you're providing a safe workplace for them. They want to see the brand you're working on. So, I mean, the exposure, like what Alex was talking about earlier about that pay-per-click, the most common thing is going to be, appliance repair near me, refrigeration repair near me, or you can go brand specific, Sub-Zero, repair near me, or you can go, Frigidaire repair near me. And those clicks will be less because you're more of a directed population at that point.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a couple of things. Andrew was talking about, or in something Andrew was talking about, Bobby was pointing out like high competition. And one of the ways that you can kind of address or adapt to high competition with PPC is by going with those longer tail searches. In addition to like a brand or an appliance specific type of search term, you can also layer that with a city. So, you're in St. Louis, right, Bobby?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like Sub-Zero refrigerator repair in St. Louis. That's something that is going to be a lot more specific than what that big time competitor might be throwing $5,000 a month at for just general appliance repair. And then also, I can't emphasize enough how important the visuals are, specifically in a place like Facebook, because remember earlier I was talking about that intent of your audience. Are they in market or are they out of market? On Facebook, people are usually like showing up to, check out what's going on with their family or look at dog videos or that kind of thing. So those visuals are really important to catch their attention and bring them out of that space. And then also back to using those visuals across the board on your website, on your Google My Business posts, or on your Google My Business listing. And then you can also use those photos. If you're taking photos regularly, you can use those to create Google My Business posts. I think it was Andrew was saying, an image speaks 1,000 words.
Hey, Alex, can I send you the advertisement page for my Capitan? And can you put it on here to use as an example?
Yeah.
Let me pull it up. I don't know how I'm going to be able to send this to you. Let's see.
Here, let me go ahead and while he's doing that, let me pull this back up just to see, are there any other, you guys have any experience on any of these other lead generation types or questions or anything like that?
I've built a ton of business by going to senior folks' homes as well as property managers. I've done that for the company I work for years. We had an issue with our Kentucky route, and we had like guys leaving constantly. They put me down there, and I built it up to be basically 2 routes now. So whereas we could barely keep one guy busy, now we have 2 guys running Northern Kentucky. Now he's moved me to the point where I run from the 275 loop all the way up to Dayton. So, I mean, I'm expanding the area up there too. So that particular example, I've made a lot of off of.
So let me go ahead and pull that up. I just saw you sent me a message.
So, like, if you look on this, you'll see that I'm targeting all the 5 common repairs. I have photos of, you know, like what I want customers to have an image of when I'm in their home. More importantly, I'm trying to target a larger audience. So if someone's looking for a dryer repair, if somebody's looking for, you know, a refrigerator repair, there they can see, you know, blankets are being used. You know, it's we work on the mall. Try to cover everything. So this capture right here has right now 32,000 exposure. So that's a Sub-Zero refrigerator and another built-in KitchenAid, Samsung dryer. I mean, you guys have all seen these.
Yeah, and something else, notice how much engagement there is on this post. So what Bobby's done is he's used a page post and turned it into an ad, or is using it in the ad. And Facebook will look at the level of engagement on a post. You know, this has 53 comments, 22 shares, 51 of the, you know, the likes. And, you know, in the comments, it's also another opportunity for Bobby to continue to sort of squeeze the juice out of this lemon, or this orange. It's not a lemon here. This is very good looking.
So most of
this
these,
is great.
what I had the unfortunate thing is I send the messages directly to the customer instead of, you know, making a public review and reply on here, which I think I should start doing more. That way it's more publicly aware that I'm responding to the ads. But my response time to the customers is usually pretty quick. But this Facebook ad that I have right here, this entire ad, or this entire Facebook home site is only a month old. So I mean, it's not that bad. But if you click on the reviews and you give the customers all these different, you know, abilities to do it. But that's how I do it. But you'll see I have a perfect 5.0 rating, and every single customer, you give them the option for it, you know, and you give them an opportunity to make a discount, and everyone likes it.
Yeah, this is a great example. Cool. Any other kind of questions, comments that you guys have, whether it's on lead generation? Is there anything in particular that you want us to talk about and cover on one of these future calls? Again, these calls happen every Sunday at 5 Pacific time.
I don't know if there's enough time left over, but building the
websites.
Yeah,
no, we won't have any time today, but I'm always taking notes for future calls.
I know that's a big one, and that one's a real hard one to try to, you know, explain and cover. But it's also one of the ones that's going to be a, you know, prime because you can put it on there, they can schedule their own calls. A good website will make money for you. I mean, you can collect a service call fee, you know, right there on the website before you even engage the customer.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in getting people together to discuss like a one-man show, specifically warranty work, doing, for example, Whirlpool or Samsung or LG. Don't do it. I understand that that's probably a good call because of the lower income ratio, but you don't spend money in advertising when you work for a company like that.
When you do warranty like that, I mean, you got to understand that your rate is what's going to be everything warranty work. So your rate may fluctuate between, you know, brand and manufacturer from $85 to $125 per call. Now you work on a brand new unit that you don't have stock for, so you're going to be making how many trips to complete that call? It doesn't change your rate. You don't get paid that per call. You get paid that per completion. There's a difference. You went from 85 to $25 for one trip, and now you're still getting paid 85 to 125 for two trips. So your profit on that call just dropped down to 40 to 60 bucks. You made 40 or 60 dollars doing that warranty work. Now, granted, they're going to keep feeding you work, but you can't pick and choose a location. You may be doing up north, down south, over to the left. The customers, they don't care. They called Whirlpool. Whirlpool gave it to you. So now when
you can select your zip codes, though. You're able to select your service route for those companies.
And you're only making 40 to 80 bucks on that call. Or you get a fresh kill call where you can go to the home. It's a 5-year-old Samsung. You got the pulley on your truck, and you can pocket 225 right then and there. That's the equivalency of doing 3 or 4 of those warranty calls. So I mean, it's
Bosch
not.
is my example. Bosch. I mean, I can't tell you how many first-time completes I do for Bosch specifically. I would say 90% of my Bosch calls are one-time completes.
Well,
and they're a pretty high-paying warranty company.
You carry control boards and you carry drain pumps. You carry, those probably stock more than likely.
Nope. I don't carry squat for them. They're almost all customer instructs because they can't figure out something very stupid. Maybe a few ice makers. Ice makers are pretty common for all brands. But
the big thing when you're a one-man show is what you have to focus on is your PPC, your profit per call, because it's not you don't have 10 techs running 400 calls a week. You're a one-man show. You're running 40. So what you get paid on the week is based on how much money you can make off those 40 calls. So it's about quality, not quantity. So to put yourself in a circumstance where you're already limiting the amount of quality, that you can pull from that job, you're starving yourself before you even start.
Okay. That's good to
An
hear.
analogy that comes to mind is high risk, low reward, or high risk, high reward, low risk, low reward. But change out risk. It's like if you interchange risk for putting yourself out there to acquire the customer. It's a high reward.
Think pennies make pennies. Think dollars make dollars.
Yeah. Cool. Let's go ahead and wrap it up for this call on this week. Thank you guys for attending and the participation. I'll be back. We'll be back. Like I said, every Sunday at 5 Pacific. And yeah.